Alright, so I cleaned the MAF, sprayed it with some MAF cleaner, and I'm gonna have to screw it back down, but I have a new O2 sensor as well, because I was throwing an O2 sensor cold the last time I tried to start it and it was running rough. So I'm gonna do this and see how it runs afterwards. I may have to put some fuel into it as well, but I'm gonna start it without the fuel first and see if that clears up the rough idling. I hope it does. Airbag light is out, so I'm happy about that. The previous owner had taped the airbag light. There wasn't a passenger airbag for some odd reason. I'm gonna give it a crank and hopefully she starts right up. Nope. Still doing the same thing like last time. Yeah, that's weird, but yeah, I don't know why she takes so long to start, and it's just sounds like a racket. So here we are. I still can't get the Gallant to run while it started. At one point in time, like one of the first videos that I showed the Gallant running, I did have it running for till the vehicle warmed up, but I didn't have water in the radiator, so I had to turn it off. And that was the last time that I had the vehicle running for a while. Now it starts up and it'll stumble out. So I took the fuel pump apart, and I decided, well, before that, I decided to buy a brand new fuel pump. And while I'm at it, I decided to upgrade. So I have a 255 Walbro fuel pump, and I'll show you guys how the Walbro looks like, because there are a bunch of fakes on the market, so you'd have to know what you're looking for. I believe I bought mine off eBay, probably $80. I bought a kit for a DB Integra, which is a late 80s, early 90s Integra. They don't make a kit for the Gallant, but now that I bought the, I'm showing you right here. Now that I bought the kit, I just noticed that you can get away with just buying a generic, I shouldn't say generic, just a base Walbro fuel pump, and then you would buy your, can't remember what that's called, but you would buy that separately for the Gallant, because I basically bought the kit and I didn't need it. Basically the kit came with, I'm just going to call it the strainer, I can't remember what it's called, and it came with some things here to splice in the connectors. So this is the Walbro fuel pump, 255. It comes in a plain box. The box is unmarked. There's a lot of fakes on the market, so you got to pay close attention to how they look. And if you look at the top portion right here, the connector is long, like the female part is long, and it goes straight to the fuel pump. The old design does not look like this. So that's something you'll have to pay close attention. And I got to remove this rubber boot. But when you remove that rubber boot, you should see actual metal gear, a metal gear in there. There shouldn't be plastic. It should be a metal gear. Um, and I can't remember if there was something about the nipples on here, but I can't remember. Also, the logo has changed. Let me turn my flash off. The logo has changed and the name has changed. So you have, what's it called? TI Automotive. I don't think my camera is going to really get that, but the logo is different. And that's the name of the company, Quantum. What does it say? Quantum Fuel Systems. So it's not going to say Walbro. They have a name change. So that's it right there. One thing that's pretty cool is the connector is the same exact style as the gallants. So you don't even need to mess around and splice any connections or anything. It'll hook right up to it. Better yet, I'll show you. Let me put the camera down for a second. See there, I got the connector in. Goes right in there. The fuel pump is just a tad longer. It shouldn't have an issue though. Just a tad longer than the factory fuel pump. I'm going to go ahead and order the sock for the bottom, the strainer, whatever it's called, and I'll have to pick back up on it. The old one is just, it has smudge on it and it's just dirty. You can kind of see inside is a little bit dirty, so maybe I'll clean that out as well. And maybe I'll clean the top off as well of the fuel pump, because that's what I think. I think there's just, everything just got dirty in there and it's sucking up a little bit of sediment and causing the vehicle to run hard and stall out. So I had gloves on. I should have brought more gloves into the house, but I usually work with gloves when messing around with anything like this. But yeah, hopefully that's the issue. Then I can start buttoning up the rest of the interior and planning for the turbo in the future. But this is basically the first mod that the Gallant's getting for the turbo, and this is actually the first fuel pump mod that I've done. It's not really even much of a modification. It's just basically plug and play. Okay, I got the strainer kit. I bought it from Rock Auto. I have to buy a bunch of other parts of the Outlander, so I got this for like $2-3. And now I'm just gonna put it back together, and hopefully I'm pretty sure it's gonna solve my fuel problem or stumbling problem. I have a slight issue. Not only is the body a little bit longer, like this fuel pump would be sitting about here. Not only is it longer, it's the orientation is slightly different. I mean, the orientation isn't too big of an issue, but what's happening is when I put it in the bucket, it's a really tight, it's really tight where I can't really get the clips there to lock in. So I'm gonna have to figure out. Like, yes, the orientation is different, but it'll still fit. Even though, like, the triangle is facing a different side, it still fits in there. I just got to get it to clip in. I couldn't get this on there. This holds the fuel pump to the assembly here so it doesn't fall out. But I'm not too worried about it because it's a really tight fit. So it's already being pressed up as much as it can. So I'm going to try to mess around with it and see if I can get it to clip in. So I got two of the clips. This one's kind of holding on for dear life. This one's clipped in. Now the third one back here is not clipped in. I'm having a bit of trouble to get that one, so I'm going to leave it as is. I gotta hook up this one return line and get ready to install it. I'll clean up the top here as well, and we should be good to go. Alright, I got the fuel pump in. This took longer than the times I've done it in the past. It's kind of annoying, actually. I had a hard time getting the ring on there. I also had a hard time getting the seal for the fuel pump assembly to seat into the fuel tank. That was bunching up and giving me issues. And while I was putting the fuel pump in, I was trying to figure out the orientation where the arrow is supposed to be pointing. I mean, I took a picture of it before I took it out, but when I put it back in, I was just thinking if someone ever did a fuel pump before me, if they put it back in the proper way. So I was looking around, and I usually go through Tearstone. If you guys are familiar with Tearstone, it's a good website for the 3rd generation Eclipse. And I wish I've looked, because I've looked through it before, I wish I stopped and actually read through the fuel pump installation process, because some of the issues I was having with the fuel pump being just a tad bit longer than the factory, that was mentioned in the Tearstone website. So I could have avoided squeezing the fuel pump into the assembly by just trimming the strainer, trimming it down a little bit. And also, they said drilling holes into the assembly to increase the fuel input. So hopefully I don't come across the issue. I mean, if anything, I'll take the fuel pump back out in the future, or maybe I'll just buy a brand new one and modify it so when I drop it in, I don't have to wait. But I'm gonna install the rest of the screws here and go ahead and start it. I finally got it running after starting it a couple times, and I did put a little bit of fuel in the tank. I'm not sure if that helped. I put some more coolant in it because the coolant wasn't filled all the way up. And it took a couple of tries of starting it, and it's running rough. It's still throwing the O2 sensor code, knock sensor code, but I don't have a knock sensor in. And it's throwing a speedometer code as well. As we've seen, the speedometer was jumping around while I was trying to start it. So I'm gonna have to figure out why the O2 sensor is showing no voltage at all.